A lot of questions people ask me is, what needle grouping am I using? What brands am I using? What machine? And all of that. And I always say that it's the artist more than the technical stuff that you use. Although I do realize that there are some things that make it easier than other things as far as like good brands and all of that. But I really feel like the purpose of this video hopefully is to teach everybody that the questions that you should be asking are not technical ones, but more so design questions, drawing questions. So right now I'm gonna put that to the test, and I'm gonna be using the machine that I love using, my Bishop, with the same setup that I use for every day, and I'm gonna compare that to this $40 one day overnight shipping from Amazon kit and compare the two side by side. So let's see if skill really does outweigh the tools. Now to unbox. I'm really excited to see this. I actually have not seen what's inside of here yet. So we're gonna look at it together. I'm scared. I don't know, I say I'm scared because that's what all the influencers say. They're like, I'm so scared. And they're like about to put makeup on. I'm not really scared, but I am very curious. Oh, look at these baby inks. They look like needles. Oh my God, look. My hands are small, so. Wow, that looks terrible. Oh, we have our black, true black. All right. Okay, we have this. This is what I usually use. Look at these needles. Well, never used this brand before. They look like normal needles. We just have, let's see, we have a 3-round liner and a 7 mag. Okay, so we have a tiny needle and a tiny mag. And let's see what else we have. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is the power supply. What is this? I have my gloves, my 1 pair of gloves, my little baby ink caps. Wow, some of these ink caps are so tiny. Oh my God, it has everything you need. Ointment, this really reminds me of the kit that I got from a smoke shop when I was 16, honestly. It came with everything, pretty much. Ooh, we got the fake skin. And comes with everything. This is great, okay. Got your Thermofax paper. Already got my stencil, so I don't need that. And the covers for my machine because of cleanliness, you know? This is a really long cover. It's a very long machine that you can use for it if you would like. Oh, it's a foot switch. Wow, I haven't used this in years. Power supply, beautiful hexagon. Nowadays, you have your machine and then you have the whole power supply and everything just like attached to the machine. So I haven't done it like this in a really long time. You just go over and press a button, or you just press your foot down. I know a lot of artists talk about like back problems because they're trying to worry about their foot, you know, like where their foot's being placed and things like that, which is also why the battery is so great. And we don't have to worry about cords. Anyway, the machine, holy grail. Tattoo pen. It just looks like the Cheyenne pen that I used for so long. And it's pink. How cute. I think my husband ordered this. Wow, that is hot pink. Super hot pink. And here we go. Yep, wow. Okay, we're gonna be messing around with cords. I never thought that one day everything in tattooing would be cordless. And now it's hard to remember and imagine how I tattooed with foot switches and cords. It's crazy. We got this. I'm gonna do it. It'll be fine. Everything's fine. Wow, this kit really came with everything. I love this thing. You can see the difference in thickness too. The one that came in the kit is obviously paper thin. And that's really the main difference here. So yeah, this one will be harder to tattoo, but it is still gonna be possible, I bet. I'm gonna do half and half. Use old speed stick. It's also what I used to use back in the day of the house calls. The stencil paper. But I can make that work because I know how to draw I like to let people know that I just learned what a stroke was, like, I think maybe a few months ago now, and I've been tattooing for a very long time. I say this quote all the time, and I don't know exactly word for word what it is, but it's the archer, not the arrow. Is that correct? I don't know. I think, like, if you know how to tattoo, you are able to pick up whatever's in front of you and go for it. There's not too much differences, although there's some machines that are delightful and make things easier, and that's also why I love Bishop so much, and because they treat their artists so well. Their stuff's amazing. I'm using Sinner's new brand of needles right here for this 3-liner. A lot of my ink is from Eternal, World Famous, Fusion, Revolution. And since this is a fake skin, it's gonna go away very soon. I'm just gonna lightly like block everything in real quick. So if you are looking for an apprenticeship, or you feel like you're in a situation where you somehow can't find an apprenticeship near you, or you aren't financially available to buy like a nice machine or things like that, my biggest hope for this video is for all those people who feel like they can't tattoo because they don't have the funds. It is still possible to become the best tattoo artist you can be. You don't need the best shit in order to learn how to tattoo and to tattoo really well. Moral of this story, and this is where drawing comes in handy. It's just always good to know how to draw whatever you're tattooing. You can always tell when someone doesn't know how to draw whatever it is they're tattooing. Well, I'm gonna go pretty efficient on this, as efficient as I can. So I'm not going to worry too much about making this perfect, but I want to give everybody the idea and the message. Watch the other side be better than this side. I think that would be really funny. Got my small needle and my smaller needle. Got my ink caps. Oh, let me get my gloves out. Let's hope they fit. This is gonna be so fun. Look how, what is this? Well, good thing I'm using tiny needles fit into my tiny ink caps and my extra large gloves. Then I have my inks that I'm gonna use. Let's see. And we have black. We have like a whole thing of black. I appreciate that they are sterile. But yeah, that red is a really nice bright, like if it was an Eternal color, I would say it would be bright red. And I think these colors really are just enough for like a one-time use, I would say. And we got this kind of like dusty rose color. What is that? Carlos pink. Thank you, Carlos. Okay, so make sure we got some primary colors. Then you can make all the colors out of that. Let's set up this machine. Okay, power supply. Oh yeah, here's my cord. Hard to grab onto things because of the gloves. I would say make sure you could get gloves that fit you. Like that definitely helps. Still, you can make it work. We can't find the opening. There may not be one, so we're wrapping it this way. Secure it with this. Yeah. I feel sad that I'm like covering up all the awesome pink. Oh yeah. So back in the day, I was using coils that I definitely didn't know how to use at first. Nowadays, it's so much easier because it's just a rotary machine. It's just a pen, and then you just turn it on. Okay, here we go. We're gonna do it. Voltage. Feels like a normal machine to me. Let's just sculpt it in first. Yeah, there we go. The fake skin is definitely thinner, but so far that's kind of working to my advantage. I think the ink might be going in a little easier, and the machine runs fine. I am not a machine expert, so it's hard for me to tell huge differences. I just know I love my Bishop. But if I was stuck with this, it'd be fine. Like if I had no other machine and this is all I had and someone forced me to tattoo, and I don't have a deep red, so I'm mixing my black and red together to make deep red, and it looks the same as on the other side, so that's nice. There is no excuses after this, guys. The best tools in the world is not going to make you a good tattooer or a good artist. It's practice, it's drawing, it's design. It really felt like I was tattooing this thing, but I wiped everything off. So not one part was tattooed. But it's okay because, again, luckily, I can draw. So we're figuring it out. We're going to figure it out together. We got to push a little bit harder. And that's with fake skin in general. I was like, oh, this is going in easy. Well, I guess it is. With fake skin, it's just you got to press in so hard. But it's still cool to practice on because you get the basic techniques down with fake skin. I mean, it's better than practicing, I think, your first one on an actual person, unless you can. But if you just like are at the shop and you don't have anybody, or you don't want to tattoo yourself and like all you have is fake skin, it's still good to just practice on it because you're still developing skills. There's no excuses to just sit around and not do anything to further your career anymore. Okay, I'm gonna try to get this away now. Saturates just fine too. Yeah, this is great. If anything, I feel like these tools are really forgiving. Like I'm sort of like, not that I'm trying to rush, but I am trying to like a little faster, be a little bit more efficient, and no matter what I do, everything just kind of comes out more peppery. I mean, I'm going all over the place. I don't think it should be this consistent. Funny story, I kind of got scammed when I was new to tattooing. There was these guys who just created a machine that we were going around to shops, and they said they loved my work and they wanted to sponsor me. And being like a year or two into tattooing, I was so amazed that anybody would even look my direction. And I just was so stunned. I was like, oh my God, a sponsorship, a machine sponsorship. I just heard that sponsorship word. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And I ended up being sponsored by this like random machine brand that was very new, just came out. I was using their shit for a long time. I entered like my first competition with this machine. I used it a while. I loved it. It turns out that it was a scam, and these were just like knockoff machines of like this bigger brand that was around, but they were really just like these $40 machines. I didn't really see a difference. Now, I was very new to tattooing, but I still remember during that time I did some of my favorite pieces with that. It's something I even taught my very first apprentice that I ever had, because I believe he just had this random, again, $40 machine off the internet, and he was practicing on fake skin and he was blaming the machine. And I was like, cool, like let me try it then. Let me use it. Let me see what's going on. And I used his machine on my tattoo that day, and it came out exactly how I wanted it to. It was totally fine. Yeah, it's really just like some questions you could be asking if you get tattooed by your favorite tattooers or you go to a seminar is like, what I don't know, what art classes online or like something that's more available to me is something like I can take to help me become better at drawing? Or do you have any certain rules of composition you like to follow? That's what's gonna help you get better. And then just practicing, whether it's on this fake skin, whether it's on fruit, just like an artist who brings their sketchbooks everywhere and just draws on the train, draws at Starbucks. It's the same with tattooing. You just gotta do it. I feel like if you really want to be great and you really want to practice, you will find a way. I feel like things are just so much easier when you have rotary pens. There's a lot less mechanics to figure out. I wish I had these in the beginning of my teachings or when I was playing around by myself. I feel like one difference that I see is that the needles really hold on to a lot of water, so it just took a little bit longer to rinse out. So we know for sure practicing black and gray is very possible. I'm now going to really try to dig into these inks and see if I can mess around with these ink colors. So far, I think the white is very watery. I don't know what I'm doing, but as everyone can probably see, I just went over that area lots of times and nothing came out. Just have to press a little harder probably. So I've adjusted and I'm mixing this pink in with black and red because one of the inks were a little too watery, I believe, but I know that this red is pretty solid. All right, so when we put it side by side, it gets pretty dang close, I think. The differences I found, some of the ink pigments were definitely the biggest change between that and the last setup I was using. The ink here, the white and the pink, a lot of the colors really came out just as water. So definitely it's a little more iffy if you're wanting to do color with this. Black and gray, it's the same thing. But yeah, with colors, that's the only difference is that some inks I really found make a difference, especially between the inks that we used here and the last ones. But it worked out really well, and I was still able to do everything that I usually do. So yeah. Now keep in mind what I'm doing today is not my full potential because I want to keep this video in a good amount of time. So this rose is not fully rendered. What I'm going to do is not complete, but it's just to show you that it can be done.